Welcome to my orchid life. I appreciate you coming over for a visit. If this is your first time here, welcome. Mainly I speak about orchids. On Sundays I do a houseplant video for those that do grow houseplants. Majority of my videos are about orchids, however. So if you enjoy orchids and want to follow the journey of learning with me, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And if this video ends up giving you a little bit of value and you enjoy it, go ahead and give it a thumbs up as well. But today we are going to talk about the novelty summer phals, and these have all been purchased this year. The previous video I did on the hybrid end of season update, I've had all of them anywhere from 1 to 2 years, so I kind of know what to expect. I feel like I know them. These ladies I'm still learning, and I think they are all just stunning. And one of the reasons they're called summer phals or novelty phals is because they generally bloom in the spring and summer. And I will show you a couple of examples of their sequential spiking. So these, you do not want to cut the spike once the blooms fade. You do not want to cut the spike until it browns. So let's get started. We'll start with our Phalaenopsis deliciosa. I have it as a subspecies Hookeriana. I have seen it in places called a variation Hookeriana. So if you know whether it's a subspecies or if it's considered a variation, and I couldn't really find if those two were interchangeable, I'd appreciate some clarification in the comments down below if you know that. But when I got her, so I've only had her about a month, so I got her at the end of September, end of August. It is now the end of September. It's actually like the 25th of September when I'm recording this. And when I got her, she did have some blooms, and I will post the blooms on somewhere over here. But a couple of these blooms have blasted, and I believe it's because I had her in an area where it was kind of drafty, and she does prefer it a little bit cooler, and I've been keeping my house open a lot, and it has been getting up to about 80, 83 in the house with a breeze, but I think it's just a little too warm for her, and that might be why it blasted, and they could be blasted too just because I did repot her. However, with that said, she is still absorbing this leaf here. Her roots are still nice and healthy inside the pot. And for those of you who are new, when I do repot my orchids, whether they're Phalaenopsis, Oncidiums, Cattleyas, if I'm able to get roots on the edge of the pot so I can monitor them, I like doing that. And then let's talk about my Bellina Caerula here. And I got her from Brookside Orchids. And just as a side note, all of these are from either Brookside Orchids, Orchids Limited, or they're from Orchid Classics. Those are my three go-to online here in the United States because they have good quality plants. Their customer service is amazing, and their packaging, oh my goodness, great. They are the ones that I generally go to when I order online. Let me know if you order from any of them and what your experiences are. But Brookside Orchids. So this is the Phalaenopsis Bellina Caerula. And when I got her, this leaf right here was just starting. So she is growing it rather slowly. And of the, I think I got 6 in this order. Of the 6 that I got, she is the slower grower, but she's growing. She's also producing a new root right here, and she is starting to absorb the seedling leaf, so we will let her do her thing. So then let's talk about the Phalaenopsis philipinensis. So this is one that I got from Orchid Classics. They had a special going on in the month of August where you were able to pick 4 species of Phalaenopsis for a certain price, and I said surprise me, so this is one of the ones that they sent. Since she's been here, she has, this leaf was already growing when I got her, so she's just extending her leaf. She looks like she's got a little tiny root growing. I'm not sure, I'm not going to disturb her too much, but she is one of maybe 3 or 4 that is in small bark and moss. Majority of my summer Phalaenopsis, novelty Phalaenopsis, are in all moss, and it's the New Zealand sphagnum moss that you can get on Amazon. If you can see, her roots are still doing really well down in the pot. Now we have the Phalaenopsis japonica. It used to be called the Sideria japonica. This orchid has 2 meanings for me. One, I saw it a few years ago on Miss Orchid Girl's channel and was like, oh, I want this. But now that my son is stationed in Okinawa, it has even more meaning. So I need to make sure to take care of this. Initially, I had her in a bark perlite mixture, and her leaves kept drooping, even though I was practically having to water it every day because it was drying out. Since I moved her into the moss, these leaves have continued to stay nice and perky, and very, very slim look of a leaf. Like it's one of those where it's that slit where you're like not sure if it's just the connection or if it's actually a leaf. Either way, she has stayed hydrated, and I will just continue to leave her in here. And I cannot wait to see her blooms either. So then we have the Phalaenopsis hieroglyphica. Again, one of the 4 that Orchid Classics sent to me. She is in a moss-only media, and you can kind of see her roots right down in there are doing well. She's also putting on a few roots right there. Other than that, and of course she's absorbing her 2 bottom leaves. And guys, it's okay if your Phalaenopsis loses 2, maybe 3 leaves a season, as long as they're at the bottom. So if it was like this leaf right here, you would want to kind of investigate and see what's going on, because your top leaves should not be turning yellow. Your bottom leaves are fine. All right, and then recently I acquired 2 Phalaenopsis bellinas from Orchid Classics. So I had ordered the Phalaenopsis bellina and the Phalaenopsis pulchara. I guess they were out of stock of the pulchara by the time they got to my order, and they sent me a free gift of another bellina. So I did reach out to customer service via email. I let them know, as much as I appreciated the gift, in future they may consider sending a different orchid for the person ordering, just because they ordered one plant already. If they wanted to, they would have ordered 2. Anywho, so since they've been here, so this one here, they both have, I'll just show them to you kind of at the same time, and I'll post the video of the unboxing, but they both have nice big leaves at the bottom, and then they have 2 sets of stressed leaves, and they both have new leaves that they're growing, and those leaves are relaxed. And this one here actually looks like it's grown quite a bit since it has come to my care. And I have one that I am growing under the grow lights, and then this one here, she hangs on a wall and just kind of gets additional light from a grow light that is not really on her and facing the east facing window. I figure I'd put them both in a different setup, not setup, but a different lighting, just to see what happens. And both of them I still have in the little nursery cup. I did add some additional moss with some bark on top just to keep mold from growing, mold, algae. And let's go ahead and talk about the Yin's Black Eagle here. So she again came, and this leaf was sticking straight up, and she's now relaxed her leaf. She's growing a nice big root. Let's see if we can move that root right there that is going down into the media, as well as one here in the front. And I don't have any roots on the outside just because I couldn't spread them out. But again, you can see these leaves are pretty firm. All of these grow under the grow light, except for the one bellina and well, let's just talk about it. The Phalaenopsis speciosa red that I got from Orchid Classics back in January. When I got this one, she had these 2 bottom leaves, and then this leaf was finishing off, and this was already broken when I got it, so it did continue. And then she produced this leaf this growing season and is now working on this leaf here. And she hangs alongside the Phalaenopsis bellina on the wall. And along with her, I got the Phalaenopsis violacea crossback 2 sibling. Again, in January, when I got her, she had these 2 bottom leaves, and this leaf was finishing off. Then she grew this one, which was kind of a stress leaf, and then she kicked out this, and now she's kicking out this one. So she's doing rather well. And if you can see, she's got quite a few roots growing off of her there, as well as lots of roots growing in there. And then she does have quite a few roots in the pot. And then my Phalaenopsis Yopon Evergreen, again, one of the Brookside orchids, has 2 spikes, and she had 2 spikes when I got her. She did come in bloom. She did bloom 2 more times for me and just has kind of taken a rest. And this is what I mean by don't cut your spikes. So do you see how green they still are? That means that she still has the potential to bloom off of them. And if you look really close, she is trying to work on a bloom on that one, as well as on that one, and she is working on a new leaf, and she does have plenty of roots down in the pot. And my Phalaenopsis here, again, one from Orchid Classics, one of the ones they chose for me. So it came with, it came with another leaf here that she has absorbed, but you can see she's producing a big root here, and she does have another root. Can't really see it, and I don't want to move that leaf, but let's see if we can. She's got another root right down in there, as well as she is now absorbing this leaf, but in place of it, she is growing a new leaf. Can you kind of see it peeking out right there? And her roots, she has growing root tip on that one, and that's the only one that I can see at the moment. Oh, no. And then if you look really close, you can kind of see one in there as well. And then let's talk about my Phalaenopsis cornu-cervi variation Cheddle a Day. So she is one that I got in celebration of 100 subscribers. And she's got a root here. And do you see how dry the root looks? Well, you can tell the moss is dry as well. And you can also, when you go to pick them up, you can kind of tell by the weight, but she still has this aerial root that she came with. She's really not done anything that I can see since coming in. I am thinking, let me see. Looks like she does have a leaf trying to start down there, so we'll just have to wait and see. She sits on a table facing the east-facing window. And then my Phalaenopsis Sogo Vivian Leaf's Edge that I got from Nicole Deanna is, for the longest, she grew nothing but this leaf. She still has a lot of roots inside the pot, as well as this aerial root is extending. And she now has a lovely new leaf growing right there. So I'm just waiting for her to spike. I cannot wait to see her in spike. The videos that I've seen of the care collab of this and spike, as well as the pictures, I cannot wait to see that in person. We have the Phalaenopsis Tying Shin Fly Eagle that I recently received from Brookside Orchids. And she is in all moss. And you can see her roots are doing really well in there. There's one right there, and it looks like it has growing tip, but she is also producing, let me see, let me move that, a new root there, as well as a pretty leaf right here. And then this leaf right here, when it came, it was damaged in transit. So I taped it initially, but then I was like, you know, I'm just gonna leave it alone and let it do its thing. And it didn't do too much. I mean, it does have that split in there, but other than that, she is doing fine. She is settling in. I've only had her since the beginning of the month. And along with her, I got this one. And this is the Phalaenopsis inscripti. Okay, you know what? How about I just let you guys read that? I've been trying to practice the word and I still can't get it. It's a tongue twister. But again, I got her at the beginning of September along with the Tying Shin Fly Eagle. And she did come with 2 spikes. She did have a bloom on her when she came. If I can find the picture, I'll post it, but it died off the next day, which is expected. But again, she is again in all moss and doing rather well. She was already in the moss. I put her in fresh moss because the moss that they came in had a lot of algae in it, and I just didn't want to leave them in that. But look at her. This, ladies and gentlemen, is why I love the summer novelty phals. Look at these big, beautiful, round leaves. They're just gorgeous. She is working on another, looks like 2 blooms on that spike, and then it looks like 1 on this spike here. Again, sequential bloomers, so each one of these bracts that you see, there was a bloom in that bract. So this is where she bloomed the last, this is where she bloomed when she came to me from this one here. And she does have a few aerial roots, and I just love the aerial roots. I know a lot of people don't like them, but I love them. And the best news of all, so this is the Phalaenopsis mini mark. And again, I saw this bloom on Miss Orchid Girl a few years ago, and since then I have been on the lookout for this specific orchid. And when I saw Brookside had it, this was the reason for that order, was this lady right here. So she has grown a couple of roots, but more importantly, we have le spike. We have a spike. And it looks like she's starting to produce her first set of, let me see if I can put it in there, first set of buds. I am so excited to see this lady. She's white, her sepals and petals are white. She has like a deep orange, yellowy orange lip, and then there's spots on the sepals and petals of orange. Look it up, it is just amazing. But in addition, she's also growing some roots down into the pot. And for those of you who are worried that they're potted kind of deep, they're not. That's just the layer of bark that I have on there to keep the moss from getting algae on it. All right, well, that is it on my Summer Bloomers Novelty Phalaenopsis. Let me know if you have any of these, and if you'd like to do a care collab in the future, maybe do a spring update, see what they did over the winter. Let me know in the comments down below, or reach out to me via email. I do post my email in the description. And I hope everyone is having a safe and wonderful day, and we will see you guys on the next one.